Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of election night, November 5th, 2024, 6:45 p.m. Central Time. And I'll tell you, already the craziness is beginning. Stock market soaring to the upside early on. Look at this. You're almost down 100 points. You're down 90 already in the euro, which means the dollar is going to soar when it opens at 7 p.m. tonight. So that gets to be interesting. What does that tell you for the gold market? Is that part of the word that says a Trump victory is what the market expects? You can go to bed tonight, wake up in the morning, you can be up 100 in this. Here, you're down 94 points right now. I'm telling you, this is what the market has been gearing up for. It's going to be volatile as can be. This is why some of the brokerage firms, the clearing firms in futures raised margins. Now, will you see that type of trade tonight in stocks? Probably. But the margins there are very different. As you know, most people buy on cash that I know. If you go to margin, it's only 50%. These are different. Look at 97 lower. So it's unfolding right before you. If you're trying to make heads or tails out of it, why? All right, you're probably going to wake up in the morning, is my prediction, and not know who the president-elect is. However, the big news that nobody's paying attention to is what happens in Congress. We have razor-thin margins, be it on the Senate or the House. It can flip-flop either way in these. Which way will it go? I want, and I think the market will like, divided Congress. In other words, no one majority, not all Democratic, not all Republican. I'd like that mixture to have a check and balance on whoever is going to be the president-elect, all right? It's going to be very, very important. I can't imagine that if it is Trump that President Biden's calling him to congratulate him. I think there's pretty bad blood between those two. When you look at the E-mini S&P 500, you can see how the market is climbing back up tonight. When we take a look at the bounce, you're getting your bounce finally. Again, does it mean anything? That's what you got to be careful of in the evening trade. The market is out of the downtrend. You now have a lower low, and with tonight's action, a higher high. No surprise there. You fell all the way back, and you know what I'm going to tell you. I expected the market to go back to the 18-day average to fight a battle, and if you don't see that that's what it's doing, I'm quite surprised. And look where the market held. Yes, the Bollinger Bands again, and coming up to that line in the sand resistance. Are we trending? We are not. You cannot call on a bar chart, a daily chart at least, that is a trend. It isn't doing it at this point. It broke the downtrend. That's the important thing. And momentum, which had gotten oversold, is now no longer there. And the question is, what do you do with that 18-day average? A lot of pivot point traders are going to go crazy with this market. They'll be looking at markets like, assume that the 18-day average is your pivot number. They'll look at the sells above and the buys below and be playing that. That's what I expect to be going on tomorrow. When we look at the NASDAQ, any close back over 20,391 is bullish. Anything that closes over the 18-day average. You hear what I said out of my mouth. Closes over. That doesn't mean it's going to be an easy buy with the stop all the way down, nearly 390 points lower. I got my doubts about that. When you look at the Dow, I expected to get a bounce back to the 18-day average. This is just classic what markets do going into big events, and that's what you've got. And you're in the big event. You don't know who's going to be president, so going back to the neutral number makes all the sense in the world. And the market that's surprising the heck out of me is the Russell is taking off right into the upper Bollinger Band. It's saying, forget that. I know what's going to happen, and the small caps are going to be the place to be because blah, blah, blah is going to happen. You have a vertical price rise going. Okay. Then when we go to the interest rates, remember, this is Fed week too. People forget that. You have the Bank of England also on Thursday. You got two big banks making decisions. Lower highs, lower lows, still an embedded reading. This is still a bearish scenario. The market that was flirting with losing that was the 30-year bond today, and it didn't lose it by the end of the day. 5-year note you're getting down to levels that you haven't seen going up for quite a while. Take a look. Let me step back here. You haven't been there since all the way back into the summertime. So these are high yields that the market's making at this point in time. You were near 4.3 in the 10-year on the close, 4.28 and a fraction. We'll see where it's going to be when we wake up. In the dollar index, this is still Tuesday, and the market was down today 46 points. My guess is it opens with completely erasing that and sharply higher. Can't wait to see the first print. It's a few minutes off yet, but we'll see what it does. In the euro market, you're sitting here right back to the 18-day average. Now, from what I teach in my charting course, classic action. You went up, challenged the upper Bollinger Band 100-day average, and right back down. Exactly what I would expect the market would do. British pound. People today getting nervous, and I'm telling people that were calling me, I don't know. I said, you're playing right now the emotion of an election, and it has more to do than what the central bank actions are going to say. I still believe that very much. This is a crazy, probably 3 or 4 day period. I want to wake up and hear that we have a president-elect. I don't expect that to be the case, but we'll see. Higher high, well, lower low, nothing in Bitcoin. But again, it's hanging, and it's staying above that 18-day average, which keeps a bullish bias in the market. In the crude oil market, well, you know, this market's had a nice vertical rise. You know that this market's thinking, who's going to win? What's it going to mean for the Israeli conflict out there? We also know that OPEC has got a problem on its hands. They can't get prices up where they want them, and they're losing market share. What do they do, if anything, about that? That's going to be the play that you got to start thinking about. When we look at these WTI crude, well, you went up, you're challenging the 100-day average overbought off a vertical rise. I don't think there's much to do there. And in the heating oil, you're coming up here, and I'm looking for the resistance. Natural gas, I'd love to see a rally develop in this market. I was telling traders about that today, but it just didn't develop. Can't do anything when you don't get the development that you want in the market. So, what do you do now at this point in time? Well, I think that what the market's going to look at tomorrow is going to be what we call pivot points. So when you get a center line, there's a formula, and your charting software does it for you. I'm sure if you have good charting software, it's in there. And you'll get sell numbers above, like you've got here in these red ones, and buy below. And traders try to sell into the, or if you will, go short at the resistance numbers, buy at the support numbers, trying to get back to the different pivots that the market offers. I think there's an edge if you apply slow stochastics with it, and I show you that in a 3-part video series that is yours for free if you haven't seen it. Go and take a look. Just go to iraepstein.com, free offers, scroll around in there and you'll see the pivot point series. There's also an Arun indicator series. Take advantage. Move your cursor up here, you'll see an icon, and with that, folks, can't wait for the morning. We'll talk, we'll see what goes on. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be exciting.